welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. And today the movie I'm reviewing is called Asteroid City. This subtle and whimsical comedy is now playing in theaters. The rating is PG-13. However, it really should be rated R because there is full frontal female nudity. But I will get to the tips for parents in just a minute. But that shocked me. The length is an hour and 44 minutes. But other than that, I'm going to give this movie a rating of an A because I just think it is such artistry. So I'm getting ahead of myself again. I'm going to give you an overall view in a nutshell, and I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines, funny lines, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that I think that you'll also like from the same director. All right, let's dive in. In a nutshell, if you're a Wes Anderson fan, you will definitely get a kick out of this newest edition. He has such a unique, quirky style that entire YouTube channels have been devoted to him by visual artists who create movie trailers in his style. You have to see them. Just do a quick search on YouTube. They're hilarious and awesome. This movie was directed and written by Wes Anderson with additional writing help from Roman Coppola. Now, some people are saying this movie is so Wes Anderson, and I agree. The story is about a father who takes his tech-obsessed children to Asteroid City, a small rural town out in the middle of nowhere, to compete in a junior stargazing event. His wife, their mother, recently died, which changes his worldview forever. The story is presented as a play written by a famous writer. All right, so again, let me give you some tips for parents. There's that full female frontal nudity. And actually, Scarlett Johansson is the actress who just drops it all and is there to the world, for the world to see. She was perfectly fine with doing it, but she had to also direct it because Wes Anderson was too embarrassed to do it himself, which makes me wonder, well, then why would he even put that in his own movie? Surely he would know that other people would be embarrassed too, and it was completely unnecessary. It didn't add to the storytelling or the story even itself. Some of the themes that are illustrated really well in the movie are family, grief and loss, wonder in the universe, alien life, relationships. Things that I really liked about this movie start off with the cast. It is absolutely fantastic. They all knock it out of the park, and it includes quite a few Academy Award winners and nominees, such as Ed Norton, Adrian Brody, Willem Dafoe, Margot Robbie, Bryan Cranston, Tilda Swinton, Tom Hanks, Scarlett Johansson, Jason Schwartzman, Liv Schreiber, Matt Dillon, Jeffrey Wright, and so many more. It's just a who's who of Hollywood, really. I think if you were an actor in Hollywood and you were extended an invitation to be in a Wes Anderson film, you would absolutely say yes. I loved Ed Norton's fun accent. He really got into the spirit of it, and he has been in other Wes Anderson movies. There's even an awesome Jeff Goldblum cameo, but don't blink or you're going to miss it. I love how the camera frames things. Each frame could be a piece of art. It is a masterpiece, and I am sure film students are going to study this movie for decades to come. Just soak everything in. It's all so clever and intentional. This is not one of those movies that you can have playing in the background, while you're doing dishes or having a party or doing something else in the room. You have to watch the screen to appreciate every second of this film. The introduction to the characters at the beginning was amusing and helpful too, so pay attention to the descriptions. The director wanted to film out in the middle of nowhere and somewhere that was really flat. And so he looked everywhere until he finally found a spot in southern Spain. I lived in Spain for 2 years and loved it. And so I just thought it was fun knowing that they were in Spain while they did this. And rumor has it that the whole cast gathered every night to have a big group buffet, basically a banquet every night. And I just tried to picture how fun that would be in those Spanish southern nights. I don't know if it was winter, spring, summer, fall. Anyway, it was Spain and it was awesome. Bryan Cranston compared making this movie to an actor's dream camp. He said he absolutely loved having those nightly banquets and gatherings with all of the other actors. That just sounds so much fun. Bill Murray was going to be in the movie, but he got COVID right before filming. And so Steve Carell stepped in to fill his role. And so other than Wes Anderson's first movie, Bottle Rocket in 1996, this is the first movie not to feature Bill Murray. The color palette changes from black and white to fully saturated color for kind of a retro look. And I thought that that was interesting. I much preferred when everything was in color, but I can see why he would switch, possibly to remind us that this was a play coming from a screenplay, which would have been black and white on the page, to bringing it to full life, to the stage and to the film. I don't know, that's just my philosophy. Comment down below, tell me why you think he might have chosen to do that. The dialogue, like all Wes Anderson films, is witty and delivered dry and delivered very fast. I actually like it when actors break the fourth wall in movies. That means they aren't acting, they are, well, they're still acting, but they're talking to the audience, in other words. And so in this movie, they tell the audience, you can't wake up if you don't fall asleep. They say that several times, and I thought that that was interesting. While extremely humorous, the movie is also heartbreaking and touching. The music and sound effects are absolutely perfect. Now, with all of that praise, and I could add even more to that long list, there were just a few things that I didn't like or thought could have just been done better. For example, the plot is pretty thin, as if Wes Anderson were more interested in design and creating visually stunning scenes, which he does, but they're not really strung together in a story that the audience can sink their teeth into so much. There are so many characters to keep track of. Now, I've also heard that some people say there's not a clear protagonist, although I would disagree. I would say it's that father that the whole movie centers around, but I definitely see their point. There's no villain or challenge that needs to be overcome, which is kind of film writing 101 to have a hero's journey. I guess you could again say that that father has some things that he has to overcome, which is mostly his worldview and trying to make sense of losing his wife. All right, and then again, as I mentioned, shifting from color to black and white is an interesting director's choice, but I kind of felt like it was a little bit more of a distraction than was necessary. So I always write down interesting lines or funny lines, and I didn't write that many. You can find them all on my moviereviewmom.com website, but I'll share one of them with you right now that made me just kind of snicker. It's spoken from a character who's played by Tom Hanks. And someone says, well, when are you going to get there? And he says, I'll be there when I get there. And I just thought that was funny. So let me give you some recommendations for some other Wes Anderson movies that I think are spectacular. The first one is The Isle of Dogs. It's very Wes Anderson-esque, probably more so than these other movies. It's so clever and so well done and very Japanesey. The next one is the Grand Budapest Hotel. Now, when I first saw the movie, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I think it was my first Wes Anderson movie that I had seen, so I don't think I got it. But then when I rewatched it, I was like, oh, this is actually very clever. So another film that is sort of like that is Moonrise Kingdom. So check those out. I think that you'll enjoy those and you'll start to see that very unique Wes Anderson approach to filmmaking, which is just a delight. All right, that's it. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.